purpose for that tree board back then was to give various assessments to maybe potential hazards of trees and or at some level maintaining trees via pruning trees and or helping to assist residents if they have dead limbs or so forth. As we know, we are in a climate age where there are more hurricanes, there are more tropical storms. We are on the heel of one right now. I have had several concerns brought to me in terms of huge trees and equivalent fear in terms of if this tree will fall on my house during a hurricane or tropical storm. So I'm bringing this before the council to say that we do not have a tree board, but I'd like for us to consider reestablishing a tree board or assisting those who do not have thousands of dollars to get limbs that can potentially fall down on residents or trees that can actually do more than that. So that is what I'm speaking to tonight. I'd like for us to do something about these huge trees, being we do not have a tree board. We have huge trees still, and I'm not quite sure why the tree board stopped, but I'd like to see something happen to have this revisited.
I got sort of, I don't know if this may help you or whatever, but Pitt County Arboretum may be a contact out at the extension office out there, through Ag Extension out for across the river, Pitt County Ag. Get it right. The Arboretum out there, you might can contact them because they might have someone that can come out and say, you know, look at your trees to determine whether they're disease ridden, you know, to be able to help. They may also have some type of resource at the Pitt County Arboretum. I think that might be a place to start. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking to the mic, but I think that might be a place to start there also. That might be a good contact, you know.
And I will reach out to them, but in the interim, I'd like to ask town council, staff, what happened to the tree board? It was active and then it was not active, but we still have trees that are centuries old and residents who quite frankly don't have thousands of dollars. So if we can anybody speak to why that's no longer prevalent?
Do you have any answers?
The only thing I have with regard to the tree board, I mean, that was quite a long time ago when previous town manager here, Mr. Bill Wisnett, was kind of spearheaded that. I believe he was a big tree advocate, and the town established a presence as a Tree City USA, and I believe part of that charge from that organization in order to get the honor of being classified as Tree City USA, there was a requirement to have a tree board. What that tree board was tasked of doing, I do not recall. I just know that it did exist. I know that there was some collaboration with developers and NCDOT about different plantings and what could be planted in certain areas, and what couldn't, and what was a quality type of tree for a certain environment or situation. Whether it be, you know, cityscapes or things out near NCDOT's streets, all those things were in consideration. From a utility perspective, the town currently pretty much works within our right-of-way, whether it be for electric, water, sewer, stormwater. But we can do some research on the tree board. I think there is some concern, and Ken could probably speak to this a little bit better about going on private property and doing tree removal. However, I would say too, and I haven't investigated this completely, but I do believe homeowners insurance policies, depending on the company you are with, and they probably have different standards and rules because every one of them is different, may have a clause in their policy that would allow the homeowner to have someone come out and look at it, and in many instances, the insurance company will deem it danger to the property. And so therefore, if they contact their homeowner insurance, they may be able to get the insurance company to pay for the removal of the tree that's of concern. Ken can probably speak better to the legality of.
We, of course, the town doesn't have the authority to go on somebody's private property to cut down a tree. If the property owner wants the tree to be removed, then I guess it would be a decision for the council if the council wanted the town to take on that responsibility of removing the trees. I think we probably would need to look into that just to check on town liability and things like that to see what was feasible for the town to do.
I would like for the town to look at it. I would like for the town to get back with the council in terms of homeowners who would indeed like trees removed, but are not at liberty to do that now with this, with Assistant Town Manager Bowers giving information. I can then go back and to the homeowners and say, hey, there may be a clause in terms of you having your insurance company looking at that. But in the meantime, what I am saying is I have two neighbors on the either side of me, as well as other homeowners in and throughout Winterville who are at their wits' end with being fearful of these trees. I don't know, we could have a workshop, something. There has to be something that Winterville can do to address this, or to at least to the homeowners say, here, I hear you. I mean, this, let them know that we do hear them, knock on either one of my neighbors' doors and speak to them. And I will implore anyone who is listening to me tonight via YouTube, come out to the council and speak to what your concerns are, and especially in terms of these trees.
Thank you on that part.
And as far as the tree board goes, I think it just stopped meeting. Tree board, because it was active when I first came on the board, but they just stopped meeting, and they mostly picked out trees, vegetation for town. That was what they were doing. So I don't ever remember them even touching the topic of cutting down huge trees.
I brought this to the attention of Town Manager Parker back in, I believe, the beginning of January. I did not ask or request this be put on the agenda, but there was some discussion in terms of liability with going on to others' properties. However, there was a gentleman, I can't place who he is, that said that they would consider cutting some limbs of maybe dead limbs on trees, or just coming out looking. And I think that should be something that can be considered. Yeah, so if we can have some sort of follow-up, I would really love that for the residents here, homeowners here in Winterville, in terms of the trees.
You finished on that?
I'm finished.
Okay. The next one is mental health and community resources, Councilwoman Hawkins.
So I'm going back to the quote again. We should not aim to protect just because others are weak, but we should do it because they are important. There are mental health concerns here in Winterville, as well as across the country. Mental health concerns that can affect residents, that can affect those who are coming through Winterville, that can affect the young, the old, the elderly, those who provide service, those who are, just a variety of demographics. And so what I would ask is that Winterville take a stance and looking at mental health, looking into some sort of mental health first aid courses where we can do this collectively or in partnership with those who provide services. In addition to that, Assistant Town Manager Bowers and I have discussed some community resources that we are tapping into. What I see as a vision for Winterville is us being a helpful support to those who are having mental crises, as well as needing some resources to get help. So this is my discussion. I'm bringing it before the board. I don't know if I need to make motions. I know I'm making a voice to a concern and a voice to what can make our town, county, state, and world better.
May I say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Councilwoman Hawkins, I do appreciate all the things that you're amplifying through the voices of the residents that have spoken to you, and just also what we saw at the Human Relations County workshop, and mental health and substance use or behavioral health was one of the top 3 concerns. And I would be remiss if I sit here and not say anything as a licensed mental health professional. What I would like to see, and maybe we can just, or I can work with, Assistant Town Manager and Town Manager Parker on having Trillium, who is our mental health, they have, they are our MCO, or our local management entity, to come and do a presentation during our council meeting. So, the town can understand the resources. And then also we can have maybe spotlights, for the CBOs, which are the community-based organizations that are in our catchment area or in our county, in our town, that specify their services and what they bring to Winterville. So that's something that I would, be glad to work with you all on. And then also, with the mental health and first aid, there are organizations that will come out and provide those workshops for our town and for our council. And I think that that would be a great idea. Also, Chief Williams, I'm not for sure what our ratio of CIT trained officers are, the crisis intervention trained officers across our police force. So that's something that we can look into as well, Councilwoman Hawkins. I hope that is helpful.
Yeah, that's very helpful. I would appreciate your partnership and getting this done. This, in addition to us having a newly reignited Winterville Human Relations Board, we are ready to work on this. I did want to bring this before the council. So I'm ready. I appreciate your partnership, and I'm ready as early as tomorrow to get started.
Understood. So what I will do, I will send out an email before the end of the week to Chief and all the council members regarding contacts for Trillium and how to move forward with this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that list of resources, Councilwoman Hawkins, that we received. Appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And thank you, Assistant Town Manager Bowers, for doing that.
Excuse me. Are you finished on the mental health?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next up is, of course, update on the intersection and pedestrian safety measures.
And so we did speak to what I was going to bring up yet again, Boyd and Mill Street. Of course, respectfully, it has been tabled, but I'm going to stay on top of that. I did want to update, but of course, that was the update. Councilman Moy, as part of the MPO, did go to a meeting with regards to traffic and intersections, and I asked him to bring some questions to them in terms of Highway 11, Winterville Parkway, and Davenport Farm Road, as well as Reedy Branch and Highway 11. We know that we have had near Reedy Branch, Highway 11, near the credit union, as well as Caesar's Pizza, And in that area in general, we have had a fatality, we have had another fatality, and it's just a lot over there. But it doesn't dispel that we have walkers. We have people going to those areas who do not have transportation, right? So my question was, could we get some additional safety measures via walking signs, pedestrians walking, something in the interim? Because my whole goal is safety and residents being able to get to their destinations and back safely. Councilman Moy, can you speak to what was shared with you, please?
Yes. Before I attend the first meeting of the MPO board meeting, and this was my first meeting that I have attended. I always thought that what some of the question or concern and interest that you just brought out, that was concerning interest that I always had myself. And I always thought that I could receive feedback or good feedback from the MPO. But I found out that the MPO does not have anything to do with items of that concern. It's more like metropolitan, the whole city, the city of Greenville, the big city, how they routed traffic, you know, how they improve large traffic, basically, you know, and that's one of the things that they really focus on. Now, if we ties in, or if we have a situation where it's going to improve their policy, that's when they will actually put a microscope on our ideas. Is that right, Mayor?
Well,
Sort of what?
it's sort of, but if we do have concerns, we can express them at MPO.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we can express these concerns, just like this, the four-way stop thing right there, what Anthony is talking about, that's part of the MPO. So those are concerns. Sidewalks, we talked about sidewalks in the MPO. So it's not all metropolitan. We can bring up these items, you know, in the MPO.
And I brought those issues up, those concerns, and they told me plainly, you know, that's not what this meeting is about. I mean,
Not sure which meeting you attended, but there are several, so they have an agenda. So it may have been a situation where what was on the agenda wasn't necessarily specifically related to what you were asking. However, there are items that the MPO has helped us with. I mean, they've helped us with a grant for a sidewalk on Mill Street. They've helped us, they've looked at the intersection, and I was gonna give this in my update, but the MPO as well as, but let me back up. The MPO itself, we spent a lot of time on prioritizing. We're on the technical committee, and there's the basically the legislative committee, which is the TAC, the elected officials. And so staff is a TCC. And so we spend a lot of time looking at ranking priorities and projects they are on a larger scale most of the time. Typically what happens with the items that maybe Mr. Moy brought up is they're probably a smaller in scale compared to what was on the agenda or the priority of the MPO. In other words, some of the items that they're currently looking at on the MPO, one of the two higher priority projects would be Old Tar Road widening, the whole project all the way from Winterville to Greenville. Another high priority would be widening Allen Road in the MPO area. Another would be Fire Tower Road 4-laning as you come through Greenville into Winterville. So these are items that the MPO looks at and they prioritize and they rank at a level based on Vision 0 criteria and points based on there's this whole elaborate point system. And so while they do listen to us, a lot of times these smaller projects aren't going to rank high enough to get addressed. So with that being said, and what I was going to bring up in my update, and I'll go ahead and do it now. So we don't have to do it later, but I have talked with NCDOT about several of our issues. Highway 11, Mill Street, and Vernon White. This area, they have made changes to that. I don't know if you've noticed they've added the skips to keep people from going into the left of the median. They've also installed a do not block sign, the intersection, so that people can turn left on the Vernon White. So they are hearing us at the local level. They've also, it's unfortunate, the intersection of Beacon and 11, as you know, there's been a lot of fatalities there in the past year, I believe 3 different fatalities. We had already sent a letter to NCOD asking them to investigate the left turn signals as a result of concerns from this council. And so we moved forward and advanced that. It's unfortunate that the week after we sent the letter, there was another fatality there. However, just to give you an update on that process, it's a 14 to 16 week. That has to be completely re-engineered. You won't see different turn lanes, but what you'll see is different signalization. And so they will put in determined protected left turns, and so you won't be able to turn left on a yield or yellow or just a straight green light. You'll have to wait for a signalized green to turn left. So they are making improvements. They are listening to us. We've built some good relationships with NCODOT in the past couple of years and really trying to advance the concerns of the town and make progress as y'all see fit. And we voice those concerns as a staff to continue to make improvements. It may be important or something of consideration in the future to have a workshop on what it would look like for all of the concerns to come together instead of us like kind of piecemeal and stuff. But let's sit down in the room and figure out all of the things we want and prioritize ourselves like we ask, like NPO prioritizes their big projects, and then we can address them from there. But I'll just float that out and kind of follow the council's direction on that. But that's kind of the update I have on items of traffic concern.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Next.
Thank you, Assistant Town Manager Bowers, for bringing that forth and as well as sharing what is going to be happening in the process. And the reason why I brought that up again, because again, each life matters, whether they're driving or walking, and just to know that a relationship has been built to address this in a growing town is great. And I look forward to what's to come. And then we could just move to the next item.
Yes, ma'am. Town-based transportation.
And so I have spoke to town-based transportation. This will probably be my 3rd or 4th time speaking to it. And in light of an acknowledgement of the council voting down that it is not investigated, that other facets in terms of bringing this about is not investigated, I would say that it is very important to be investigated. I would ask that we place this as something that is a priority, even having contractors, somebody look into this. Again, people are walking up and down on the road. It may not affect some of us because we have cars, but it is affecting children. It is affecting those that do not have. And to get to places such as the store, to get your food and your home needs, that is important to some people, whether they have a vehicle or not, and they need to get to and from their destination safely. So I would ask that the council reconsider having this investigated. I'm going to say it again and again. It is very important that we have something put in place to where we as a town have looked into town-based transportation.
Thank you. Ms. Hawkins.
And then with that, can I make a motion? Like, I would like to make a motion that we revisit investigating what can be done, as opposed to me bringing it up and it going away. It was voted down, but it is needed.
Yes, ma'am, we can't stop you from making a.
Okay, so
Before you make your motion.
yes, sir.
The discussion that was made on this, and the reason why we voted the way we did, it was the information that was presented to us. Is that correct? And I think it was basically was the cost factor.
I'm not quite sure. I know Town Manager Parker said she was readily available and poised to go investigate, but it was voted down. It wasn't about cost, because there was no cost, because she didn't investigate it yet.
Okay, so she has not.
She was told not to investigate.
At one point, we did investigate extending the, great bus
Right.
to Winterville. This was prior to them going out to County-owned road. And I forgot how many millions of dollars they said it would cost just to extend it, or $1 million, it was either 1 million or several million, to extend the route of the bus, so it would come through Winterville and make one stop. That's what we were told from the city of Green. That's why we, you know, we just left it alone, because that would be an extra burden on the part of our taxpayers. We, realize 1 penny is only, what, $160,000. You can imagine how much it would be if we were to, take on the expense of $1 million transportation.
And that investigation, if I'm not correct, was done years ago. That wasn't an investigation that was recently done. I would also say the expense of taking on $1 million, we don't want to do that, but we also don't want to take on $1 million of liability of people walking up and down the street at risk to get hit by a vehicle. So just asking Town Manager Parker to investigate other facets of it, not just the great bus. There are other people who may be willing to have a contract with Winterville. There's other things that can take place, but when we say, hey, we don't want her to investigate, that's just saying no. So I am asking, or I'm ready to make a motion that we allow Town Manager Parker to investigate additional prospective opportunities for us to get some level of town-based transportation.
So you putting that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
You putting that in the form of motion?
Yeah,
You're
that's-
asking Ms. Parker to investigate.
Yep. Did I restate it?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I make a motion that Town Council approves having Town Manager Parker investigate other ways in which we can have town-based transportation. Investigate additional or other ways that we can have town-based transportation outside of the great bus. That is the motion that I'm making.
Second.
Okay, that's second.
All right. Got a motion on the floor and a second. Motion made by Councilwoman Hawkins for Town Manager Parker to
Yes,
investigate other methods of town-based transportation.
sir.
A second by Dr. Randy Harrell. All right, is any discussion? Yep.
What kinds of things are you thinking about, Councilwoman, as far as transportation? What modes of transportation are you thinking about?
So once there's an investigation, that will expand or open up the various options. But immediately an option comes to me is independent contractors. There are people who actually need a business in taking people to and fro to set places. Food Lion, Dollar General, Post Office. They're not going in and all around Winterville, but there are individual people who I've spoken to who are open to the idea. But if town council, would not allow anyone to investigate, that's a closed door. To actually compare what the cost via the revenue would be, because people would be paying a fee to get to their destination and back safely at that. So that is one option. There may be more options, but I would like for this to be investigated. And if there are more cons than pros, we would still have something in place that says, hey, we looked at this. We looked at more than one option, and there was nothing else that we can do. So that is why I made the motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote by raising your right hand. All against, a motion carried 4-1. Thank you.
Thank
you. Items, further agenda and further works session. Anybody got any now? Yes, ma'am.
So I would like, for future work sessions or agendas, or wherever this fits, the North Carolina Black elected municipal officials, we had a conference, a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of information that came out that I feel is very important to our town when it comes to environmental equity and environmental justice. And when I speak about equity and justice, it's not based on a racial thing or anything like that. So of course, the equity part or the equality part is everyone pretty much will benefit from the same supports, and then the equity is everybody gets the support that they need. So we've heard, or I've heard people come up and talk about the flooding and just different things that's going on around the town. And so I went online after we had a session about the American Flood Coalition. And with that being said, I did not see that we are a member as a town. So I would like for us to, Assistant Town Manager Bowers, if we could look into how to become a member, because there are so many resources regarding, the American Flood Coalition. And then also there is a flood funding finder. And so with that being said, there's technical assistance with folks to help us to write these grants when it comes to, flood mitigation and things like that. So if that could be placed on the agenda, I would really appreciate that. The next thing is the Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Center. And so we are Region 4, and with Region 4, it's North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, so on and so forth. With Region 4, the two technical assistance providers is RTI and then also North Carolina Central. With that being said, there is over, the Thriving Communities grant making program is over $40 million to projects within our region. And with that being said, the types of projects that can be funded is stormwater issues and green infrastructure. Also, emergency preparedness and disaster resiliency, environmental justice training for youth. So I really feel as though we as a town and as a council should look into how to, acquire this assistance, for towns such as ourselves to, acquire some of these grant funds. Because I was really appalled at the fact that they were literally asking us to join, or asking us to reach out to them, because, across, North Carolina, there were only a couple counties out of the 100. I think there may have been 47. So I would like to see us get some of that money, right, in the town of Winterville, because there are things that I know that we should be applying for, because we meet the qualifications. Also, there They provide funding for small cleanup projects. I thought about you, Councilwoman Hawkins. And then also air quality, asthma. So there are things I feel like we can start researching as a town to see what are, you know, the inequities in certain areas. You know, I know in certain, you know, other areas, people came up and talked about sometimes having to almost take a boat to get to their home, you know, and it's not based upon their socioeconomic status either. And so those are things that I would like to see on our agenda, future agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that something we can get copies of? So
Sure,
that we can?
I brought them.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
That would help, be helpful.
All right. Anybody else have anybody else? Okay. All right, department head, don't run to the table. Quarterly reports from department head. Stephen.
Hey. So, our technical review committee is probably tired of hearing all of this, but we have a ton of residential, especially development, kind of under review and under construction. Right now, we have under construction Cornerstone with 11 lots, Villa Grand with 40 lots, 11 at Main with roughly 60 more units. Under review, we currently have Blueberry subdivision, Carroll Crossing, which is adding 12 more lots, which will be 23 more units. Southbrook Phase 1 and 2 construction drawings and preliminary plats. Quail Trace preliminary plat, soon to be construction drawing after tonight. Brookstone Phase 2 construction drawings. Farmstead preliminary plat. Mill Street Towns preliminary plat. Have a few commercial kind of projects looking at right now. There's a office building off of Reedy Branch Road that somebody has submitted. We're looking to try to help fill some of the Lowe's food sites. There's 4 new tenants that they announced a couple days ago with us. Nothing's actually been submitted. They just said that they had 4 new tenants in there. And looking to obviously backfill across the street at Railroad Street Cigars. If anybody knows anybody looking to open a business, it's a great location, beautiful space, absolutely. Thank
Hey,
y'all.
Can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I like that.
Just the list?
Well, yes.
Yeah, no
Or,
problem.
Just can send it as an email text.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Evan Johnson, anything?
Nothing crazy out of the ordinary, Mayor. Inspections have been extremely busy. I'm happy to have Mike on board to assist, and grass picked up, of course, because everything's soaked and growing again.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron?
Yes, sir, Mayor and Town Council. We completed Section 5 of Eli's Ridge, all the infrastructure there. We've been still keeping up with our tree trimming, trying to stay ahead of the storms that might come. And just your everyday work orders and cutoffs and cutting people's power on.
So we are ready, storm ready, y'all?
As close as we can
As
get,
close as
yes,
we
sir.
can be.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Thank you,
Got
sir.
a question?
Yes, sir.
Did we ever find out what was the cause of us losing power on your,
And I never found any record of anybody losing power over there.
I was the only one?
I guess so, yes, sir.
I feel honored. Yes, I mean, being
I did,
realistic, because I don't
investigate.
wish nothing bad on no one,
Yes, sir.
you know, but you say you haven't heard anything else?
No, and we did investigate it, yes,
And it
sir.
was going on frequently, and then all at once it stopped,
Right.
so, I don't know.
When was that, John?
Oh, when was that? You came out.
It was about
what,
2 months ago,
about
wasn't
2
it?
months
Oh, 2
ago.
months
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
Yes, and we was kind of keeping an eye on it and see it's going to be a continuous situation.
Yes, sir.
And it did, it happened like 3 or 4 times.
And we did put a meter in there that,
Yes.
if something, if you recall something happening, that we can go back in there and hook the computer up and see actually if it was on our side or your side.
Okay. Thank you.
Cliff?
Good evening. To Ron's point, we're storm prepping right now, sweeping the whole town, cleaning catch basin. We have guys on standby. High water signs are ready, barricades. I'm pretty sure if the amount of rain comes that they said, there will be some flooding. I mean, that's how Winterville is, so just be prepared. Stay home if you can. We are buttoning up some projects. Water line loop we got done. We replaced the sewer line down here that had collapsed on Railroad Street by W.H. Robinson while school was out. We've completed some sidewalk projects we wanted to get done before school started back, so all that's done. And then routine maintenance, water, sewer, public works, just running routes, keeping everything going.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I'm glad you explained that work down there. I thought it was that project. So I was so happy. I was already ready to
Yeah, you remember the other
celebrate.
day when I asked you if you got a new car?
Huh?
You remember the other day when I asked you if you got a new car?
Yeah.
That's where I saw you.
Okay, but I thought it was our new project started.
No,
So
ma'am,
I
that
was
line
happy.
had failed. It had a big hole in the bottom of the sewer line. It had collapsed coming from the school. So we had to dig up about 16 feet of that and replace it. That's what it was.
Disappointed now.
I understand. It's coming, I promise.
Ms. Jessica?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. The finance department is busy preparing for the annual audit. The new audit firm came, let's see, it was the last week of July for the pre-audit. They'll be back for the final audit the second week of September. The 2024 tax bills, they were sent out last week. I think some have already received theirs. Oh, you've already gotten it? So the ones that haven't should be receiving it anytime. And just also a reminder, we're still taking applications for the Green Lamp program. I think we've got around 116 applications so far.
I was the guy that fainted. White?
Good evening. So we've been busy, as y'all saw earlier today, with baseball, All-Stars. And also, this summer, we've had some cheer camps, movie and concerts in the park, opening fall registration for our youth sports, our adult classes as Zumba, yoga, our dance classes, but also a couple weekends ago, we had a new special event. We did a Mommy and Me Tea Party. We were very fortunate to work with the Historical Society and use the train depot. We had 20 signups, so total with their child, we had around 46 who signed up total.
Thank you.
Okay, question.
Yes, sir.
Are we still working towards the multi-purpose?
Yes, sir. So.
Where are we?
So as you remember, we sent out a request for qualification. We selected a firm and then we received a contract. We have been back and forth negotiating. We do have the final contract, which we're getting a signature from the mayor. And then once we have that, we'll send it back and they'll have the ball getting rolling.
That, when you say ball get rolling, what we?
Once they get it, then it's on them. Then they'll reach back out to us and then we'll start once they have the contract. Yes, sir.
So once the mayor signs the contract, it's sent off. Is there any way we get a periodic detail of what is happening in terms of the progress?
So
How does it, do they give you an overview of how that works? Because I know, again, we're gonna have to have surveys, we're gonna have to have feedback from the residents here, of how
Right.
they would like it to look. We've had the soil tested, just giving a snapshot of what that progress would be.
So once, like, surveys, meetings, are happening, they'll bring council in for a meeting, they'll bring the rec board in for a meeting, they'll bring town staff for a meeting, so then you'll have, like, basically progress reports. So that way it keeps y'all in the loop.
Typically, what will happen in a project of this nature, and to elaborate a little bit on what Ms. White is saying, is once the contracts are signed, you'll have a kickoff meeting. They'll establish a schedule with milestones, and then once that happens, then we could take those milestones and certainly disseminate those to the council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Ms. Angie?
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council. So I just got through my first open enrollment in June. I think everything went well with that. We started a United Way campaign in June. We had a goal of 2,500, so we're at 1,800 now. So we'll have another event. We haven't scheduled it yet, but we're waiting for the weather so it won't be so hot, maybe September, October. Open positions, we have 15 that we're taking applications for right now. So within the last couple of weeks, I've received somewhere around 275 applications.
Wow.
So doing good on that aspect. We are working on filling the firefighter position. So that's been a 3-part process: written test, physical test, and then the interview scheduled for tomorrow. So hopefully we will be filling that position soon. That's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief and Chief.
Just a couple of things. From what Stephen and Evan said, we're very busy with inspections and plan review right now. So we're trying to stay on top of all that. Number of subdivisions and commercial buildings. We've been in a very heavy fire training cycle since Chief Miller started May the 20th. Basically every day, we send every shift up to Gaston College for a day of live fire training, and they're training here every day on shift. As Angie said, we're currently working to finish up the process for the full-time firefighter position that was created when we promoted Alex Caldera to engineer. We're also working on hiring a couple of part-time firefighters and engineers to fill out those positions. And I think this week the ad closes for the office manager position. We are in the midst of working on the next fire and EMS master plan. I know Ms. Robertson and Mr. Moore may not believe it, but it's been 10 years since we did the last one. And July 1st, a new ISO rating, public protection classification rating of 2 went into effect, just to remind everybody.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, how many staff members you have at this time, totally?
Well, we're short 1 firefighter and about a combination of 6 part-time firefighters and engineers and office manager.
A total how many?
All in all, volunteers in all, 60.
About 60. What times is?
So there's 16 full-time, 20 part-time, and the rest are volunteers. We're looking for some more.
Volunteers. How we, and this right here is, I know we have had this concern for many years, and still having it. How is it come along with the community fire department?
Our relationship with them is great.
A whole lot
It's the
better.
best it's ever been.
Thank you. And so that we are training and doing all that together.
Oh, yeah, constantly.
That's gonna
Yeah.
help us, that should help us out some, would.
I mean, everybody needs people.
Everybody needs people. And we're working together.
Yep.
Chief Williams.
Evening, Council. As we continue to move towards working and building better relations with the community, during this quarter, we, of course, had our summertime kickball kickoff. We learned some things. We had a good time, and it was well-attended, but it was hot. Yes, you got it, Mayor. So probably make some adjustments next year for that, earlier or later, we'll decide. We had our 3 coffee with the cops. Mr. Jesus has become our honorary record keeper of our meetings, and I can promise you she was dressed at all 3 of them. We were requested as guest speakers at Miss Beatrice Henderson's senior citizen meeting, which is pretty awesome. We had two neighborhood, not to steal y'all's thunder, but town hall meetings with neighborhood representatives, Mellon Downs, and, sorry, I lost the other one. We continue to patrol our areas, try to keep speed down, focus on trouble spots as people report them, and just engage in the public any way we can. And then, you know, we had a great 3 months law enforcement-wise too, as far as keeping the town safe. A lot of DWI arrests, gun arrests, stuff like that. Thank you. Questions?
Any questions for Chief?
Yes, Chief, I have a question. First, I'd like to tell you, thank you for all that you are doing in and around the town and helping to build relationships with each and every one you come in contact with. There was a field trip that I attended at the police department, EMS, fire department in May.
Yes,
We talked about having another one this summer, and now students are on their, getting ready to go back. So I would like to, at some point, talk with you. Maybe we can talk about having one when they just return to school, or maybe something in autumn, October, as I know is Fire Prevention Month, but getting together again to ensure that youth are given an opportunity to come in and see how the inside of the police department, fire department looks.
Yes, ma'am. And just on that, and that slipped my mind, but we have had several station tours. We usually do them in conjunction with the fire department. And as well as we did one, the Little Kids Academy. And then they all came back and brought us food and stuff. They were really sweet kids.
Excellent.
So it was awesome. We also obtained a new piece of property to use in law enforcement, a drone. If you guys keep up with technology, you know what a drone is. We have a professional style drone for the police department now. Our policy is very strict in how we can and cannot use it.
Somebody certified to use that drone?
Yes, sir. There's a FCC requirement, and we have 2 officers and 1 firefighter that are certified to use it currently.
Okay.
Nobody else will be allowed to touch it.
Okay.
But you know, you got to think, if your kid went wandering off from Sam's Club and ended up in those woods, our drone has a camera ability. We can speak to people that we see through it, and it also has a thermal ability. So if it were at night, we could see the child's heat instead of just looking for an image. So,
awesome.
Pretty awesome.
I did also want to speak to the Coffee with a Cop.
Yes, ma'am.
I did attend one of the sessions, which was very informative. It gave residents and citizens who visited from neighboring businesses an opportunity to dialogue with you all. We talked about having an additional Coffee with a Cop that is outside of morning on a weekday. So I would like for you to explore that opportunity, perhaps seasonally, just maybe one time a season to offer that opportunity, and or if not each season, but once or twice throughout the year, that will expand those who are able to come out.
Yes, ma'am. And we'd like to revamp and get rejuvenated our education program as well. So there's a lot of things in the works, and hopefully, you know, as time permits, we get, you know, one thing started and pick up the next one.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Mr. Harvey?
Mayor and council, we have a pretty good list of announcements this month, or this month. And I have to start off with the first one, a little explanation. Market on the Square, the National Night Out Back to School Bash is being postponed until September because it's probably gonna be a little squishy down there.
Yeah.
And there'll be information forthcoming on dates and everything. September newsletter information I need by Thursday. Then on Sunday, you all will be leaving for Electricities in Asheville and returning then on Thursday. I will have your packets ready by Thursday unless that is there is a specific need otherwise, there is, let me know. Your package will include your expense check, credit card, and all your details that you will need at Electric Cities. There may, the other things, Anthony will be detailing, he and Ron will be going with council to Electric Cities. Coffee with the Cop is on Friday, August 16th at 10:30. Planning and Zoning Board meeting on Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. here in the Assembly Room. Board of Adjustment meeting Tuesday, August 20th, 7 p.m. here in the Assembly Room. The Winterville Watermelon Festival is from Thursday, August the 22nd through Sunday, August 25th, down at the Recreation Park where it's been for several years now. I will be getting information out to you all when the grand opening is that we hope that you all can be there for. The Human Relations Board is scheduled for Thursday, August 22nd. Is canceled this month because they are going to participate at the Watermelon Festival. They will have a tent or a table set up to be interacting with all those that are coming. Recreation Advisory Board is Tuesday, August 27th at 6:30 in the Operations Center. September 9th is your next meeting, but the agenda information is due on Wednesday, August 28th. Labor Day holiday and town office will be closed on Monday, September the 2nd. The agenda review meeting will be on Thursday, September 5th in the conference room. And Friday night, the Friday night concert featuring Six Pack will be on September 6th. It'll start around 7 o'clock at the amphitheater. And as I said, your next regular meeting is on Monday, September 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Attorney?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have no report per se. I do point out we have a closed session tonight pursuant to the two statutes listed. The first is two matters regarding attorney-client privilege. I'll bring you two things for your consideration. Should not take very long. And the second one has to do with the council giving instructions to staff about acquisition of real property. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Ms. Smith? Councilwoman Smith?
Gracious. Just very quickly, congratulations again to all the new staff, everybody who was recognized tonight. Kudos again to, I forget the gentleman's name, who got certified and sprayed for mosquitoes. Everybody's excited about it. Thank you. To the electric department and their safety award, best wishes to everybody. Back to school is coming up soon. Everybody please be in prayer for our teachers, our administrators, our students, our parents, and everybody else involved. Grandparents, thank you. They're gone now, but everybody who helps with the Watermelon Festival. I mean, if you look at Packet and all the stuff that goes into that, it's amazing. It's a lot of work. I know a lot of people work with that, and of course, best of luck to our 12U team. Very excited for that. Wish them safe travels. Keep them in our prayers.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Thanks to everyone for everything that they do for our town, our city, and our Human Relations Board. I'm so glad that it's back up. I'm going to let the chairman tell you about that and everything. So.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you to the staff. Again, I echo what Councilwoman Smith says, but I do appreciate all that you all do every day, and sometimes the things that you do that we don't actually see. You know, a lot of the times you guys go above and beyond. Even I have to kind of give kudos to Cliff. When there were a few folks that called when we made the recycling and trash schedule change thingy, right? I was one of those persons because I didn't get it right. So I want the town to know it's not just the residents. I mean, you know, I didn't get it right either. But however, there were a few elderly or seasoned residents that called and reached out about their trash, and they were concerned. And he made it his business for him or one of his guys to go and get the trash. So I really appreciate that. Again, you guys are amazing. You keep our quality of life at the highest quality to everybody on the staff. So thank you. And just want to wish safety and success to everybody, all the students, staff, parents, for everyone that's going back to school. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hawkins.
I echo Dr. Harrell, I echo Councilwoman Robertson, I echo Councilwoman Smith. Just want to share to the staff that I know you all are a phone call away, and whenever I reach out, I get a quick response. I appreciate that. And again, wishing the baseball team that is representing Winterville 12U success. And even if you do not come home with the championship, you are still winners because you have represented us, you have given your best. Also, keep students in mind when they're going back to school. It is not like it used to be, lots of peer pressure. Not only do they need school supplies, but they need that encouragement that they can. Thank you.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the staff, all the members, to the council also. I mean, council does not get opportunity to hear another council to say thank you. I'm glad to be on the same team that you are on. Also, I noticed that we did receive some information pertaining to animal control, and there is still a great concern. And I think that they're trying to put something in place, but it appears that it's coming very slowly. But once it is in place, I do believe that we can do all we can. We can do all we can to control animal control. There is a serious problem, not just in your neighborhood, it's in neighborhood all around here in the town of Winterville. Also, the minimum, we're trying to resume the urgent repair. It seems like it's coming up very, very slowly, but getting information that hopefully very soon that we will start that up again very soon. I'm looking forward for both of those projects to come off the surface and begin to activate like it should. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Sorry. I think we will meet before Labor Day.
No,
we won't. And we will. I just want to say I hope everybody have a safe holiday for Labor Day.
Assistant Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just some brief bullet points. As was mentioned earlier, mosquito control has taken flight. Staff did a great job of trying to get ahead of, following all the rain that we had. They went out and treated all the standing water, any areas they could find with insecticide for mosquitoes. They spent a whole day actually doing that, several people. It was a big effort. They've also got the spraying off the ground and moving forward. We've got traps ordered, so that program is advancing. Staff's done a good job of moving that ball down the field. One public service announcement when it comes to mosquitoes, though, if Todd Best was here, he'd be the one to tell you. Get rid of any standing water in your house. If you've got a bucket or a bottle or anything, an old tire that's holding water, we have the Asian mosquito in our area. That's one of the big problems. They like small, little, stagnant pieces of water. So if you have water sitting around or your neighbor, dump it out as fast as you can. Don't give them a chance to breathe, and that will go a long way with helping to fight. SS4A application, which is a safety grant that we've applied for. We've made it through the first round of initial review, and that it will be advancing. Hoping to hear something later this fall. on whether or not it is an $80,000 grant that the council will approve for us to apply for. As of today, that is moving through the process. Also working on water and sewer rate analysis with the UNC Environmental Finance Center. One thing that we've had difficulty with is getting financing for water projects in the past, and their assistance will help us in analyzing our system, and making comparisons, and probably giving us some good feedback that we could take toward working with DEQ and trying to get funding from them with low interest loans, and as well as possible grants. Grants are probably highly unlikely, but we're going to try for them anyway. So that is in the works. And then just an eye on the weather. We're going to be, as a staff, monitoring everything, getting ready for the storm, and then depending on how it reacts or responds, we'll make consideration of whether or not we will be opening the EOC, depending on if it builds strength, if it gets back out in the Atlantic, things of that nature. So hopefully it'll dwindle down and go away, but that's the plan as of right now. I would like to send our condolences to the Ray Hardy family. He was a part-time employee here. He helped with our inspections department, and was a character around the town hall, and instrumental in helping us move things forward in the inspections department. So to his family, just want to send our condolences, on behalf of the town. That's all I have.
Apologize, I forgot one thing. I was supposed to give you guys an update on the cemetery, and I promised Terry I would do that, so I don't want her to come back and get rid of me. We have removed all the dirt where they undercut the roads originally. We've removed all that dirt. The roads are ready to be rocked. The only thing we're waiting on, Ron and his guys came out and cut all the big trees for us. The stumps are dug up, they're gone. The fencing has been taken down. The county moved their fence to match CMSD's fence, so you can access the new road now. So all we're waiting on now is Willie's got to stake one more side, and we can call in a contractor to finish undercutting those roads and rock them, and it'll be to that point. So I apologize for forgetting that, but just wanted to make sure I mentioned it. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I please?
Go ahead.
Really briefly, and I know it's late, but I just wanted to update anyone who is listening, residents, in terms of the phone app, Winterville app that we are still promoting, that we are still pushing for. It is in the process. There has been some delays. The goal was July 31st. That is going to be pushed back maybe mid-September, October, and we will keep you updated. I didn't want residents to feel like we did not touch on it because we are still working on it. There are some intricacies with the delay, but it is still in the works.
Again, like to welcome all the new employees, and congratulate all the teams, every team that played here in Winterville. Excellent job representing the community. And also, just want to say this right here. The council, the staff of Winterville, we are very transparent. If you need to know something, or if you want to find out something, I think you can pick up the phone, you can call us. Or if you need to know something get something from here, this town hall, I think a door is open. You can come up here, you can ask. We're very transparent. I know there's a lot of misinformation that may be floating around, but we operate on transparency here in this town. I don't think anyone else up here that got elected that's not operating under that character. So just take that in consideration. What we do, the decisions we make, they are hard decisions, but those are decisions that we got to make sure that the town move forward. So I'm gonna leave it at that. We get ready to go in closed session. Can I get a?
I make a motion that we go in closed session.
Second.
Have a motion to go in closed session. A motion made by Councilman Johnny Moore, second by Councilwoman Robinson. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Yeah.
I second that motion. I don't even have the authority to second that motion.
You need to get in there, get out.
Put those elbows in there.
And I can't tell you why. I'm
Back in open session now, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. First up, first item is the Farmstead Water Sewer Service Area Determination / Agreement with GUC.
I'd like to make a motion that we will, keep what we have and not to,
The town will serve,
the town will serve the, sump pump.
Okay. All right. Second. Got a motion by Councilman Moore, second by Councilwoman Robinson, that the town of Winterville will service the Farmstead property. Is that correct?
Well,
Is,
I think the question was, were we gonna let Greenwood take it?
then we're saying we're servicing it. Isn't it?
that's correct. And of course, when we say serve it, I think we're talking about sewer here, right?
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer,
All
okay.
right, so the town of Winterville will service it.
That is correct.
All right, okay. The town of Winterville will service it. Any questions?
So again, my question is, if the town of Winterville is going to service it, that means that there's gonna be a pump station that has to be built, right?
That's
By the
correct.
developer.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we will build it with the same agreement as we did the other developments.
If we, so we could probably do that as a separate matter from the service area agreement. But if we decide to go with a regional situation, to service, yes, we can do that agreement.
All right, so if there's no other questions, please raise your right hand if you're in favor of this. Right hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All oppose it? 3, 2, motion carry. Next up is NCDOT land purchase.
This need to be two separate,
Yeah.
declare surplus and then.
I
Oh.
think that we
sorry.
need to declare the land as surplus, which, when I say the land, probably needs to identify what we're talking about, parcel number or something. And then,
Okay.
once it's declared to be surplus, then we can, I guess, vote on, accepting on the motion to accept DOT's offer.
Okay.
Bowers, you have that parcel number?
Yes, ma'am. The parcel number is 44823.
Up 0.2.
823.
I don't have the exact acreage, but it's the offer presented.
Okay, all right, just some way to
on the-
identify it.
Winterville Electric Substation on Old Tar Road.
Okay.
So I
So
make-
the first parcel, what you're saying is 832.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
44823 partial, right?
44823.
Yeah, 44823.
Mayor, I'll make sure that we get the right parcel for the
Okay,
motion.
all right,
That's
okay,
acceptable.
all right, okay. All right, so.
So I make the motion that we declare parcel number 44823 surplus.
Okay,
I second.
all right. Have a motion and a second, motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Councilman Moy to accept the surplus for property 44823.
I would probably further say identify that portion of that parcel number that DOT is wanting to accept from us, because the parcel's a bigger tract, we're just selling them a little small.
Okay,
So I restate, I declare that, I move that we declare
okay,
the 2/10 of an acre
2/10, okay.
that the DOT needs to acquire for the road widening project on parcel 44823
Okay.
And I second.
as surplus.
All right, so the second, and that was made by Councilman Moy. Is there any discussion? If none, please vote by raising your right hand. Motion carry. Now, the second part to that, correct?
Yes, accept the DOT's offer, or
All right.
I like to
that's
make
what
a-
you want.
Motion that we accept the DOT offer.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Moy, second by Councilman Dr. Harrell, to accept the DOT offer for the purchase, right,
Oh, yes.
of the 2/10 of an acre, right? Any discussion? If none, please vote by raising your right hand. Motion carry. Next is, number 5, the easement settlement, through R.E. Davenport, eminent domain case.
Yeah, I think maybe if I could help, the motion would be that the council approves the consent judgment as prepared.
Consent judgment.
And by which the town will tender $19,716.67 as full compensation for the easement. Does that make sense?
Share your notes. So I make a motion that we approve the consent judgment made by the town in the amount of $19,716.67 for the R.E. Davenport, as compensation for the R.E. Davenport easement.
Second.
All right, got a motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Councilwoman Dr. Brandon Harrell, to accept the eminent domain, right?
Yeah.
Eminent domain consent
judgment.
Consent judgment on the R.E. Davenport property for $19,716.67. Any questions? If none, please vote by raising your right hand. Motion carry. All right. And then the next thing is the attorney needs to speak to this part.
Yeah, I think
Ms.
that
Henderson?
If the council would motion to approve a settlement of the personal injury matter regarding Beatrice Henderson, that settlement being in the amount of $5,000.
Make a motion that we approve the personal injury settlement for Ms. Beatrice Henderson in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Got a motion by Dr. Brandon Harrell, second by Councilwoman Hawkins, to agree to the settlement, right, of $5,000 for Ms. Beatrice Henderson claim, correct?
Correct.
All right, any discussion? All right. All vote by raising the right hand. Motion's carry. All right. Then can we get a motion to?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. All in say bye. Don't forget your stuff in the corner. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, all right. I knew somebody had something in the corner.
Yep. Getting what's left of it.
Good.